Week 2, what happened? Well, played Jinker Snickers, one of the greatest teams out there, just by the way. And they proved that this week. They proved that by beating the KP Fumblers. They beat us, and we lost. They did an excellent, outstanding job. You know, their quarterback, I believe he's on the Rams or the Vikings, something like that. Cousins, men, yeah, Vikings. That's the men, M-I-N, and Cousins is his name. You know, and he did an outstanding job. Hell of a quarterback. Did they win? No. The Minnesota Vikings didn't win. They didn't win at all. In fact, they played the Eagles this week, and that's where my quarterback is, on the Eagles. And so that was an interesting game. And some things that on the takeaway of that, Hurts, quarterback, my quarterback. And then I got a wide receiver there. And so I had 2 people in that game. 3, actually, if you count Elliott, outstanding kicker. Versus Jinker Stinkers, who had the quarterback for men and a Jefferson's boy. And did a great job, outstanding job. He had a top receiver for them. That was an outstanding pair. Versus what KP Fumblers had. Now here's the thing that made that game so interesting is Jinker Stinkers has got Swift, and Swift, he's part of the Eagles. That's my quarterback's running back. Now you add that up, okay? KP Fumblers quarterback added to the success of Jinker Stinkers by consistently giving their running back the ball. He did outstanding. He put up points. He did a great job. While you might say, well, Hurts should have thought about that. Well, he did. There's a play in the game where he handed Hurts handed Swift that ball, and he ran it almost to a touchdown. He got down the half-yard line. Well, what happened next play? Instead of Hurts giving Swift that ball and letting him run it in and getting them points, Hurts kept that ball, and KP Fumblers picked up them points. Hurts got that touchdown, and that's the type of teamwork that you want to see on your fantasy team. You want to see them using your players, using other players to their detriment, and then to the success of themselves. Plain and simple, that's a great man right there. Now, did he get as many points as he should have? No. Hurts should have thrown that ball. He should have aired it out. He should have got some more throws down the field. He shouldn't have used Swift as much. He knows Swift ain't on our team. He shouldn't have used him at all. In fact, he should have threw the ball behind him when he did throw it to him. He should have made him have fumbles. When he handed it to him, he should have followed him through the hole and smacked that ball out of his hands to where Swift would have had a fumble. And then he could have picked that fumble up and ran it himself. And that would be something that we're looking at and something that we're going to try to implement moving forward with the KP Fumblers. That was an awesome game, though. In fact, that's the type of professional football that you're looking for. When your team is actually playing quarterbacks head-to-head like that, going at it, it just makes for a much more interesting game. When you can sit there and cheer for your team, but be mad at them at the same time for giving someone the ball that's on the other team. It's amazing. It's amazing. That's real football right there. I don't care how you cut it. That's the essence of football. That's what it should have been from the beginning, when the fans can actually cheer for a game and actually hope specific players on their team do badly, but yet still want the whole team to do good. Now you think about that. That's complex. No other game is like that in the history of the world. But, That's what it is. So am I happy with a loss? No, Lord, no, I'm not happy with a loss. But that did make it worth it just seeing that one play, and I praise my team for that.
Hey, Coach KP, why did you lose the game then if you did so well?
Uh, Thanks for that question. That was a great question. So why did we lose? I'll tell you why we lost. We had Jones with a knee injury in our flex position. He pulled up a big zero for us. That didn't help us. We only lost by 20 something points. That's not a lot. Jones could have picked up probably 12 points himself, maybe 16. Um, Fairmouth, our tight end, he's 92% rostered, but yet he only got like a point and a half for us. Is all that his fault? Some of it is. Some of it is he had opportunities and just didn't make them. Just didn't make it happen. Um, Part of that is the way their team is put together. They're not utilizing their tight end position the way other teams do. So what's that tell you? While he might be a great tight end, he's not going to be a great tight end on that team. They're going to have to trade him for him to get any type of action, or they're going to have to replace their quarterback. Bottom line, to start utilizing him. Their offense ain't put together that way. Now, what he could do himself, and what I would ask him to do himself to promote himself and the KP Fumblers, is when he knows that they're looking the other way to throw the ball, he needs to come around, take that ball out of the quarterback's hand, get yards that way. No one's going to see that coming. And that's how a tight end can do it. Instead of sitting there on the line trying to block while you know the ball's going to the other side of the field, no. Back step, come around, quarterback's got his back to you. As soon as he puts that arm up, you strip that ball out of his hands. Boom, upfield, touchdown, every time. That's what you want to do. And that's what I'm looking for in a tight end. And we're going to be looking at that position. So, that's just that.
Hey, Coach PKP, what's looking like for next week?
And that's another great question. I greatly appreciate you asking that. Next week, what are we looking like? It's going to be week 3. Week 3 is going to be a tough week. We got middle fingers up. Middle fingers up. Coach John Clan, he's got a great team. Great team. Week 1, just to prove it, he had 144 points. We haven't got 144 points in any game this year yet. Did he win that game week 1? No, he didn't. He didn't win it. He lost, but 144 points, that's nothing to shy away from. That's a lot of points. Week 2, he didn't get as many points, but he had them there. He had them there available. If he would have utilized his team a little bit better and maybe put that Russell Wilson in and some other people, he would have won that game. So he's got the talent on the team, and he's a hell of a coach. But I think what probably happened in week 2, Yahoo screwed him up. They're telling him, Russell Wilson's only going to get 18 points, and you should play this long-haired surfer punk instead of him, and what can you do about that? They're supposed to be the professionals, right? They're the ones who put the whole fantasy thing together. That's what we utilize. That's what we look at for our information. That's what we look at for our stats and statistics. That's how you make a great team, is what's going on and how it's gonna happen. And you got to be able to trust that information. So Yahoo really screwed him on week 2, and I believe that's why they lost. But they're a great team, and they got 2 losses. We got 2 losses. It's going to be tough. Last week we had Jinkers Stinkers, great team. We had some good games. Came out and lost though. Our top players did great. Bottom players didn't. We got to look at the flex position and all that. So that's just going to be the way it goes.
looks like you're going to be playing for who's the last loser.
Well, I think that was a little uncalled for. But no, you're right. Both of us has got losses, 2 losses, and we're going to see how that goes. And the last loser, I appreciate that. Why don't you sit down and not talk anymore? That's what I say about that.
One more question. What are you going to do differently to win?
Now that is a good question. I appreciate that. What we're going to do? We're going to have some change ups this week. That's what we're going to do. We're going to move some people around. Okay. We got one player on our bench that shouldn't be on our bench. He should have been in place of Jones this week, and had he been in place of Jones, we wouldn't have won, but we would have been a little closer. We've been about 12 points closer, which would have looked a little better, would have gave us some more points in the league and all that. But Stutton, from Denver, excuse me, he's going to be on there. He's going in our flex position this week. He's proved himself twice now. I had an indication that I should have put him in. Jones did a little bit better job in that week 1, so we used him and utilized him in the flex position. This week, Stutton's going to get it, and hopefully he can secure that for himself and for us moving forward. We're going to be replacing running backs. Akers, he's throwing up in there that he wants to be moved to a different team. Here's the problem, Akers. If you don't play on the team that you're on, what other team is going to want you? It's just plain and simple. You don't work for the job you have. You work for the job you want. That's just the way it goes. So, in fact, we're probably going to look at just trading him altogether, getting him off the team, maybe just moving him to the bench for now, because that type of attitude isn't a winning mentality attitude. That guy's a loser. He was born a loser and he'll die a loser. And that's just the bottom line. That's how it's going to go for that man. He doesn't know how to play well with others. He doesn't know how to get on the team that he's on and put points on the KP Fumblers point board. That's just it. So, what can you do about that? You get rid of him. That's what you do about that. So that's what we're looking at. Tight end. We need a tight end. We need a tight end bad. And we got to go. If we can't pick somebody up on the waiver wire, we're gonna have to trade. And that's just the way it's gonna go. Now this league that we're in, there's not a whole lot of people trading. Not people want to trade. They want to just pick them up on the waiver wire. I might have to figure out a way to get some good trades. Maybe I have to trade 2 players for 1. Not sure, but I need a tight end. Bottom line, that is not a position where you can sacrifice points week in and week out. KP Fumblers know that. Coach KP knows that, and we've got to secure a good tight end, somebody who can actually help us out, help themselves out, and become great. Somebody who wants to win, not somebody who just wants to look pretty on the sidelines. Can't have that. But that's what we're looking at for this week. Thank y'all for coming out and watching. Thanks for y'all's support. You might not know it, but we feel it. We feel it when we're on the couch, drinking beer and watching these games. We know that there's KP Fumblers fans out there being like, hey, I wonder if that dude's on the KP Fumblers team. Probably isn't, but you thought of us, and I greatly appreciate that. So keep that up. We'll keep it going on here, and we'll see y'all next week. Hopefully we can have a little victory dance or something like that if we come in and beat middle fingers up, and we'll see how that goes. So wish us luck, and good game, everybody.